I know why mermaids capture sailors. There is an old story in my town about a man who met a mermaid. The story goes that he and his friends went camping by the lake, deep in the woods. At night, while the others were asleep in their tents, he stepped out to relieve himself. As he stood there between the trees, he heard a splash from the lake. He turned toward the sound and froze. A beautiful woman stood at the shore. Her skin was pale as milk, with a silvery sheen that shimmered in the full moon's light. She had large blue eyes that seemed to call to him, and plump pink lips that curved into a gentle smile. She was naked, but her long dark hair cascaded down her body, covering most of her form. The young man was captivated. Before he could speak, she began to sing. Her voice was soft and ethereal, flowing through the night air like silk. Enchanted by her beauty and the sound of her song, he walked towards her. As he approached, she slowly stepped back into the water. Silvery blue scales began to form on her legs, first appearing around her ankles where they touched the water. The scales migrated upwards as she retreated deeper, the water rising to her waist. Then she disappeared beneath the surface, only to reappear moments later with just her head and shoulders visible above the water. The entranced man continued forward, his eyes locked on hers, completely unbothered by the large, delicate tail fin that broke the surface before her. He entered the water and swam to meet her. Then both disappeared beneath the dark surface. His friends searched for him the next day, but found no trace. The authorities were informed of his disappearance, but their search yielded nothing. He remained missing for nearly a week, until forest rangers accidentally found him roaming aimlessly through the woods. He was in a dazed and confused state, rambling about meeting a mermaid in the lake. They took him to the hospital, and news of his discovery spread through town. He continued his tales about the mermaid, how they had been intimate, and how her kiss had made him develop gills around his neck that allowed him to breathe underwater. A psychiatrist attributed his stories to shock, and no one believed him until his physical condition began to deteriorate. He grew emaciated while his abdomen expanded. As it swelled, movements could be seen and felt beneath his skin. He developed an insatiable hunger and an unquenchable thirst. The doctors examined him and conducted tests, but couldn't determine what was wrong. Ultrasound machines failed to detect what was moving inside him. Eventually, he escaped from the hospital and returned to the lake, and the moment his body touched the water, his abdomen ruptured, expelling creatures that looked vaguely humanoid with fish tails. These beings were about the length of a grown man's arm, grey-white in color, with infantile features, with large black eyes and fish tails instead of legs. They were baby mermaids. These infant mer creatures swarmed around the collapsed body of their human father, and began to devour him. Days later, fishermen found the man's half-eaten corpse by the lake shore. Some of the baby mermaids were still feasting on it, and when they spotted the fishermen, the creatures let out a bone-chilling screech and swam into the water, disappearing beneath the dark surface. What remained of the young man was buried by his families and friends. The story of this event spread throughout the town and has lived on for over 2 decades. Now you know why mermaids capture sailors.